Students, this is your last video recording, lesson 7.7, circle equations. Taking a look here, you need to get the date, time, and location you're watching this video, as well as a guardian sign-off. Let's do this next review problem together. It says, an oil barrel has a diameter of 34 inches. The ramp to the loading dock is 20 feet long. How many revolutions will it take to roll the barrel up? Okay, so let's just kind of get a visual here. The barrel is going to roll sideways, so I'm going to draw our barrel, the edge of our barrel is right there. And we want to ask, how many rolls does it take, like so, to get up that dock this way? That's what we're asking ourselves, how many rolls? Now, you should see that a single roll here is actually code for circumference. So we write the circumference equation, C equals d pi. And we're told here our diameter, I'm going to circle it so I don't pick up the wrong number, is 34. I'm going to times it by pi. Now because, and it's inches. Now because I'm doing something with this, I have to get this to the decimal version. So we're going to come here. And we're going to go 34 times our pi key. That means one revolution is 106.81 inches. So every time it rolls, it's going to move 106.81 inches. Now we are told the loading dock is 20 feet. So there's a problem there because our dock is length of our docks in feet, and this is in inches. So you need to convert before you crunch your numbers. So we're going to go 20 into inches. So that's 20 times 12, 240 inches. So we're going to take one roll, 240 divided by one roll, which is 106.81. So 240 divided by 106.81. And you get approximately 2.2 rolls. Okay, we've left lots of space, approximately 2.2 rolls. Now, since I did this one kind of with you and you didn't do it on your own, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take about 1 minute. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. I want you to write what are the 3 steps that you use to accomplish this problem. You write the 3 steps you use to accomplish this problem. You write that out. Ready? You got a minute. Think about it. Write it down. It should be individualized. All right. Ready? Let's move on here. That's a quick review. Now today we're going to introduce the very beginning of what's called conic sections. Here's your keywords, the word center, radius, equations of a circle, distance, the word ellipse, and origin. In Algebra 2, you're going to spend about 3 weeks on this. But for now, we're just going to give one simple equation. A conic section is the cross-section of a cone. And there are 4 types of conic sections that you're going to see in Algebra 2. And we're only going to do one of them in geometry. So if you slice a cone straight across, that's going to be a circle. That's your first conic section. If you slice a cone towards the top at an angle, you get what's called an oval or an ellipse. If you slice a cone through the base at an angle, you get something called an ellipse. Excuse me, not an ellipse, a parabola. And if you slice a cone here, two cones like this, and you slice straight down, you're going to get something called a hyperbola, which actually looks like that. So those are your four what are called conic sections. We're only doing a circle, which is the simplest. Now I'm going to read first time, put your pencil down. All I want you to do is watch. Definition of a circle. Put your pencil down and watch. Ready? It's the set of all points which are equal distance from a center point. Ready? Now I want you to pick up your pencil, trace, and say this out loud with me. A circle is the set of all points which are equal distance from a single point. One more time. A circle is the set of all points which is equal distance from a center point. When I said the word distance, what did we actually trace? I'd like you to fill that word out right there. When I said the word distance, what did you actually trace? Katie, what is it? Radius. You should have noticed that word distance is actually the radius of a circle. So somehow we're going to interchange the word radius and distance. Let's write out the distance equation. Distance equals giant square root x minus 8, excuse me, subtract the x's squared, subtract the y's squared. That's a distance equation. Now we just learned in a circle, distance can be swapped out with the word radius. So we're going to write it like this now. Radius equals giant square root x minus x squared y minus y squared. Okay. Specifically, distance in a circle is the distance from a point on the circle, which we call xk, and the center of the circle, which we use the specific letters hk. So a point on is xy, and a point center is only the coordinates hk. So hk are the xy coordinates of the center. So this, the first x is x, the second x is going to be h. And the first y is y, but the second y, we're going to use that variable k. Ready? So we have radius equals giant square root x minus h squared y minus k squared under the square root sign. Now, when we use this equation, we don't want to leave this giant square root, so we're going to physically square both sides. So this is the circle equation. R squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, and you're done. I'm going to set the timer for 30 seconds. I want you to verbally recap to yourself, how did we get from the distance equation to that equation right there. Talk it around to yourself, out loud, to yourself. How did we get from one to another? You have 30 seconds. Talk it through. Go.
Is basically the radius. So you use a distance equation and you replace the second x of h and the y is the second y with k. And then you square both sides, the whole thing. So you get r radius squared equals x minus h plus x minus k squared.
All right, now with this equation, there's only 3 things we have to do. So once again, right here, this is the equation I want you to memorize here. X, parentheses, x minus h squared plus y minus k, parentheses squared, equals radius squared. This is the equation of a circle. Now, there's only 3 things we have to do with this circle, and it is so easy. In fact, in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to predict that you're going to think to yourself, that's it? That's all? And the answer will be yes. You have to build an equation, pull apart an equation, and graph. Build, pull apart, graph. 3 things. Say it out loud. What are we going to do? Build, pull apart, graph. Okay, step 1. We're going to build an equation. I'm going to write an equation in a circle with a center of 3, 0 and a radius of √7. Write the equation out. X minus h squared, y minus k squared equals radius squared. Now let's go back and label our stuff. Our h and k is the center of the circle. So in this case, h is 3, k is 0, and box at √7, that's your radius. You write the equation. Now we plug stuff in. Ready? We're going to go x minus circle h. Come up here, circle of 3, plug it in, 3, parentheses, squared, plus y minus circle k, come up, that's k, that's a 0, parentheses, squared, equals r √7, so √7, parentheses, squared. So you write the equation. Then you do what's called plug, and then you clean it up. Let me show you what I mean by clean it up. It's easier than you think it is. Ready? X minus 3 squared. Y minus 0 is just y minus nothing is just y. And √7 times √7, you should recognize, is just big fat 7. Guess what? You're done. So that's build. That's build. Ready? I want you to take 30 seconds to yourself and talk yourself through. How did you do this? Take 30 seconds again and talk yourself through. How was this done? Out loud. Go. All right, next one is pull apart. This one's even easier. What you want to do is you have an equation. I want you to write the given equation right underneath it. It says find the center of the circle and the radius length. So you start by writing the equation right underneath. X minus h squared y minus k squared equals radius squared. Now watch this very, very carefully. H, circle, K, radius. Remember the original equation is negative? So you have to ask yourself, what was H that would force the sign to be swapped? And the only way that sign could swap is if you have a double negative. So our H is going to be -2. Here we have minus K minus 5. Notice the sign did not swap, so that means K had to be +5. And if R squared equals 49, all we do, square root, and our R is 7. Ready? So the center of the circle is -2 and 5, and the radius is 7. Ready? Take this page and set the timer for 30 seconds. I'd like you to talk yourself through how did we do this in 30 seconds. Go. All righty, and the last thing you need to do, build, pull apart, and graph. Graph. I love graphing circles. It is so much easier than a line. So we start by, write the equation right underneath. X minus h squared plus y minus 3, parentheses squared, equals radius squared. Excuse me, that should be y minus h. Ready? Like so. Okay. Step 1, pull out the center, which is your h and k, and find your radius. So Katie, what's your h? Bingo. Our h, since we swapped the sign, that's a -5, and our k is? 3. And then if r squared is 16, our radius is? Estudiar. All right, I love graphing circles. Step 1, all we have to do is plot the center. So we're going to go -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. +3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. There's the center of your circle. And you should label it. Okay. Now from there, you're going to go north, south, east, west. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a radius of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So it's like an anchor point. Honestly, the hardest part is actually making it look more like a circle than a diamond. So start sketching. Your goal is to sketch through those 4 points so that you have something that looks like a circle. Not looking for perfection here, but make it more circle-ish than diamond-ish if you can stand it. So our center here, once again, is -5, 3. Now we had a radius length, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, you're done. Okay, I'm going to set the timer for, let's see. Set the timer for 4 minutes. I think you can do that in 4 minutes. Do the next 3 problems in 4 minutes. Ready? Go.
Not all my papers are ugly.
Oh, no.
Like, when I was taking the research paper,
Mhm.
half of the drafts would be copies. Usually I won't get off the points.
Not really.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, let's see how you did here. Build, pull apart, graph. So the first one, we had to build an equation, and we have here an h of 3 and a k of 0 and a radius of root 7. We need to write our equation, x minus h parentheses squared plus y minus k parentheses squared equals radius squared. Our h is going to go here, our k here, and our radius there. So we plug it in, x minus 3 squared, y minus 0 squared equals root 7 squared. And then you just clean it up. There's nothing to clean up here, x minus 3 parentheses squared. Y minus nothing is just y. And root 7 times root 7 is 7. And you should have gotten that right there. That's building an equation. Now you need to be able to pull it apart. So you start by writing the equation underneath, x minus h squared, y minus k squared equals radius squared. Now you have to ask yourself, there's nothing there, so ask yourself, x minus what number is just x? That's what you're thinking. X minus what number is just x? It's the addition identity property, and that number there is going to be 0. So our h here has to be 0. Our k, there's a positive 7. That means we swap the signs. That means our original k had to be negative 7. R squared is 64. That means our radius is 8. So our h and k, the center of the circle, is going to be at 0, negative 7, with a radius of 8. Taking a look at the last one here. Graphing. Graphing means we have to start by pulling things apart. So I'm going to pull out my h, my k, and my radius. My h here has to be positive 5, otherwise its signs would swap. My k, since y by itself, my k had to be 0, and my radius squared is 25, so my radius is 5. So now I graph the center of my circle. So I'm going to go over 5 and up 0. That means the center of my circle is right there. Always label the center of your circle, 5, 0. Now you count a radius of 5, north, south, east, west. And then you sketch your circle. Honestly, the toughest part about graphing circles is drawing your graph in such a way that it looks like a circle and not a diamond. Other than that, they are pretty easy. All right. Highly recommend. I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes. I want you to verbally, to yourself, review how did you do each of these problems. Just verbally review yourself. This will help solidify it in your head. Take 2 minutes and do this. Verbally talk it through.